40% female, 60% male. You live on the line that separates the yin and yang symbol. Okay? So you have to begin to look at these, what we call a game. You see? The bishops, if you look at it over here, the bishops are actually religious people. And they never come at you directly, they always move to the side, talk out of the side of their mouth. Like that. Diagonally. We're going to talk a little bit more about it in a little while. This is Ira Eldridge. They always get a black man to play Othello, famous actor from the Globe Theater. All of the black actors, all of the actors at the Globe Theater were black. Shakespeare originally was played by a black man. Of course, Shakespeare is Francis Bacon, the illegitimate son of Queen Bloody Mary, whose father was a friend of John Dee's. His father's name was Mortal Moon Bay. Francis Bacon's father's name was Mortal Moon Bay, who was also Shakespeare, and all these various other actors and occultists and so forth, who were part of a new group called the Rosicrucians that came out of Egypt, from the Akhenaten, from the Essenes brung it from Egypt, was the science of Akhenaten was dealing with. The Essenes brung it, and the later became associated with the Rosicrucians. And the Rosicrucians became the Invisibles. The Rosicrucians you hear about and see today are just a church Masonic group, just like all the rest of them. But the real ones, you don't know who they are. They're called the Invisibles. They're called Invisibles because they use each other's name interchangeably. If I was Francis Bacon and I wanted to go to London, when I get to London, I could use Shakespeare, I could use Count Cagliostro, I could use any of those names to get done whatever I want or whatever. And so they were called the Invisibles. They even had a movie about that, called The Invisibles. This is us this is my queen, and we were going, I don't know, where were we going?
That was in Canada.
Was that
We had
Canada?
the bus tour in Africa, right?
No, that's not Africa.
No.
Mm-mm. That was headed somewhere else.
It was in a museum. Oh no, that was
on
a
a ship.
cruise. That was on a cruise.
Too Moorish to show that you were the pirates, you were all of that. Right on the ship, they had the Moors right there, made out of what was it? It was made out of I think granite, polished granite or something. Powerful pieces. Right in the middle of the ship, Moors.
Yeah.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
So you were the seafarers. You could even today when you look at Ethiopia and how they rob these big ships. Here's an interesting. I can't get this to work anymore. Interesting pictures here. And these pictures I acquired at the book show, World Book Fair, and it's in my new book. So whoever wanted these rare documents that I got from the Moroccans gave me these rare documents. And I wrote about it right here. You can read about it. But I put all of the original manuscripts in there with all of the original pictures or artwork that I was given. Paid about $100 for the book. You can only get it now. You can only get it in my book, I guess, because they're not from here, from Morocco. The firearms didn't come out of China. Gunpowder didn't come out of China. It was the Moors. It was the Moors. Okay. The Moors are the modern inventors of the first rifle. Of course, the rifle could be 1 million years old, so I say modern invention because we always find out some new information. But if we know that if it goes past a certain date, it's us. Here is how we lived. We didn't live in squares with bricks and tar and steel. We had tents of beautiful materials of silk, garments of cinnabar, brass and copper. We had things around us that healed us in the open, fresh air. I mean, we don't, now a homeless person lives like that. You saw this with the gypsies, they lived like this in caravans, but we didn't live in square boxes. We didn't have stores. We had tents. We had outdoor markets and bazaars. So we need to tap back into that and stop trying to follow what Europeans do. Just like you go outside on 125th Street and see vendors, that's what the Moors did. Okay? You was always able to find whatever you needed. Here's a very interesting picture. If you walk into the museum or whatever, you look at it, you don't think much of it, but if you look at it real closely, here's a black woman, and she is forcing the white girl to get in the water and wash her stink ass. So that, because she's a concubine, captured concubine. Look at it. She's pointing to the water, and she's got her back to the water like she want to escape. I don't want to wash. So you got to really look at these photos and these pictures that come out in our history.
Look at her legs, though.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Look at her legs. Where she had her legs locked.
Mm-hmm. But they were used as pleasure items by the Moors. And this is a woman here, and she worked in the bathhouse. And I'm not even going to go through the history of how they lived. It was incredible. Yeah.
When I worked in cloisters at the Metropolitan Museum, what they do, the science of how the European puts them in the museums is they'll give you like 3 straight pictures of somebody European in prominence. Then they'll slide that one in, and then you have 3 more behind it with European in prominence.
Yeah.
And that's what they do in that museum. They'll tell you about Egypt, but they'll give you the Roman or whoever the white people were in Egypt first. So by the time you walk through that, then they'll give you the black stuff, but by the time you walk through, the imprint in your mind already is white people in power, white people in power. So that really, off the top, will look to the average person like that black woman's watching her.
Right. It looks like either she's watching her, or it looks like the black woman is a servant.
Yeah.
But look at it. Meditate. That's what artwork is all about. Meditation. That's why it's created. You meditate on words also. But look at that. Clearly, wash your cracker ass. You understand?
She's hanging
Clearly. Clearly. Here is a very interesting picture. Now, these are books I bought years ago. I think I paid like $500 for this book. Image of the Black in Western Art. Excellent book on the Moors. Now, look closely. I'm going to take you through this real close. First, it says a Moor with his leg cut off and placed on the diseased body of a slave or Slav. Okay? Look at this. Here is the Moor, right here. And you see his leg cut off, got the arrow pointing there. They take the black leg and try to put it on a diseased, sick cracker right there. You see? That's what they think of you. That's how powerful your body is. There's nothing on this planet. Whatever illness you have, if you stop doing the junk you're doing and take care of yourself, everything will heal. You understand? Just stop eating. Like doctors say, just stop totally eating, and your body will heal itself. You were so powerful in healing, they just cut your shit off and put it on them. Look at this right there.
So his leg will probably just grow back.
No, no. They did not know anything about medicine. The Moors would practice operations without cutting anything. There's a document I have right now with a 14-year-old boy that can do that.
Oh yeah.
Okay? We didn't need to cut nobody open and cut people up. That's European. Here's another picture. A Moor with his leg cut off and placed on a diseased body of a Slav, a Yugoslavian. And you'll see here the Moor laying there with his leg cut off, and you'll see here the cracker trying to put the black leg on the white man. Okay? Just so you know what you're dealing with. Can't we all just get along? You know? Can't we just get along? You want to work for them. You want to eat their food. You understand what you're doing. Here, we were on our way, I don't know where we were going, but Vishnu, this is an awesome pre-anchor Cambodian, over 100,000 years old, found by Azil at Nova Scotia. Look at the fez on that bad boy. And that's an androgynous being. Not gay, not male, not female, but androgynous.
That was on a cruise ship.
100,000 years old. And you can read it right here. Angkor Wat, Vishnu, and all that's there. I was shocked and it was huge. I was like, oh, what the hell is this doing here? A big black Cambodian. We talk about the Nagars. That's Cambodia.
Wow.
That's Angkor Wat. The Nagars is Angkor Wat. This shit here is pre-Angkor Wat with the name Vishnu. And it's an androgynous being with a big ass fez on. I thought that was incredible. Here are the Moors playing chess.
Amazing.
Now, chess by the Moors originally played by 4 people. They were played by 4 people, and hopefully I'll get a chance to show you how to do that. As a matter of fact, let me do it real quick. Hold on. Because when I want deeper, I have to break down this book too. Let me do that real quick.
That makes sense. 4 people playing chess.
Yeah, 4 people can actually play.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah.
4 people, yes, right. And the pieces were split, but you worked as a team. So one person would on one side would have the queen, and the other person would have the king. Let's do this also. Just like that. This person was playing that person, and this person was playing that person, but you're a team. Okay, so trying playing this on a triple level board is extremely hard. I can do the other way, but I haven't mastered it this way. But 4 people would actually play. It was based on what known as the square, or standing on your square, or the 4 corners of planet Earth. And remember earlier, what I said was, it was actually the points. When you look at that picture there, that's later on when it left Assyria and went into Morocco, the chessboard. But they were all Moors. And it changes where 4 people could play the actual game. And it was a very big game for the Moors, and playing cards come out of chess. The cards were laid out, each card was laid out like a square on that chessboard. And you would flip a card over, and that was your move. And whatever that card is, the next person would flip their card over. My card would either be higher or lower. The higher card takes the other card, the lower card. That's how the game was played with cards. 52 days in a week, 52 cards. You add up the cards, they come to 365. So they were dealing with, if you look at that chessboard up there, what is it? It's a calendar. It's a star map. It dealt with days and cycles of the moon and cycles of the sun and different star constellations. That's why it's square. That's why your calendar is square. That's a chessboard you look at. Here's another picture of one of the images we found on the ship. Every time we get on the ship, there's a Moor on it. There's a Moor on these ships, okay?
For protection.
You know, so I said, wow. And I only seen this in a book, but that's the real thing right there. Up top here, we talked about this picture here, but this is the Queen of Sheba. This is off the front of one of her ships. This is the Queen of Sheba. It wasn't like how you've been trained to think a black woman should look. You know, top model.
Like a regular black woman.
Yeah, this was beauty. Our training, the smells that we smell now, the things that we do as far as clothing, and the way we look at beauty. Oh, I don't like the way that looks. I'm like, you know, it wasn't based on the concepts we had in times past. Mahogany tree was the wood used for early Moorish instruments. Here is a crest from Wappen, Coburg, Germany. Okay? And there's over 100 of them. I got all of them. This is an Olmec. That's clearly a black man. Original black Olmec. How many have ever seen one of them? So 2012, like I said before, when you see the kids walking with the mohawk, that's dealing with you. Excellent DVD by Asir, breaking down Pascal Beverly Randolph, which is dealing with a lot of Moorish history. Eliphaz Levi, these two worked together, and I believe they died the same exact year. And Crowley was born that year. So there's magic going on with them and Crowley and that whole secret society going on. But this dude, Eliphaz Levi, turned against Madame Blavatsky and what's her name? Annie Besant, who was the Eastern Star. And she became the Eastern Star by sleeping with all the Masons and Rosicrucians and all that. She was just basically a whore. And he decided to stick with what Pascal was breaking down. Pascal came up with the Baphomet and all of that, and Levi took credit for that, or France attributed Levi as creating that. Of course, we talked about Black Herman. You can see his crystal ball and the whole science. They both lived close to the same time. Herman came a little later. We know about Anton LaVey dealing with Sammy Davis Jr. and the occult and all of that, but if you read the Satanic Bible, he's really just dropping science. We know that he was mixed up with mind control and also dealing with CIA. Here's Santa Claus, San Nicola Nero. And probably where they get the whole concept of the Christmas and Santa Claus, because we brought gifts of healing to the world. 17th, 18th century, whatever that says, San Niccolo di Bari,
Basilica?
Italy. Yeah, Basilica, Italy. So we were all over the place, and all the holidays are ours. Don't let nobody fool you. A pine tree in your house as a Christmas tree is the most powerful thing to have, because the healing scent is the only tree that doesn't die in the winter. You put one in your house, it'll bring you power. That's what it was all about. All those ornaments were done with gifts. Gifts and chakras and stars and star constellations. That's what the Christmas tree really was. And this was Santa Claus. Have you been good or bad? What does good or bad mean? Well, go look at your tarot deck. The fool in the tarot deck is a person who lies to himself. That's a fool. That's what the concept of a tarot deck clown card or the Joker in your playing deck. Your ego makes you think you're something you're not. That's the fool. Okay? This is Santa Claus, and Santa Claus was the person who brought gifts, herbs. That's why they used the mistletoe. Healing with just all types of healing with wood. It brought knowledge, wisdom, and all these different gifts were brought to the world, not just white people, the world. Pirates, Black Bart. Black Bart was a Knights Templar. Okay? People have problems with believing that the Knights Templars were all black. They were black because the Moors were there in 711 and the Templars didn't leave there till the 13s. Okay? 1307 or whatever. They were black. They ruled the seas. Skull and bones and the whole nine. Sidney Poitier. Poitier is a French word for porter. Cleaner. You clean the European up. Sydney is in Spain. All right? They had him playing in this movie, I think it was called The Long Ships, talking about boats and ships again. Okay? He always played a Moor in his movies. To serve with love. Got to teach them little white crackers. He always played a Moor. Yeah. But the Moors were so powerful. The negative, what people say about this movie though, was negative was that he was killing other Moors to scare white people from attacking him or whatever. But I understand what he's doing. I understand that. It's called self-sacrifice. The concepts that we are into now are totally different from the concepts we had back then. So when you see the movie, it looks very bad and very negative. Okay? Star stepping, again, we talked about that last week or a couple of weeks ago. This can be done on the chessboard. This can be done on the chessboard. It also, again, it ties to the constellation near Polaris. Here is on Star Trek where they play actually 3-level chess. Let's see in Star Trek. Here's an ancient document going back to about 12, I think it's 1226. I'm not sure the date right now, but it is in my new book. The date is in the book, and everything, the information on this is in the book. But this is a picture of the creators of chess. Okay? The board ain't laying flat and 3-dimensional. It ain't laying flat down on the ground. Why is that? Okay, you gotta ask yourself that.
It looks like he has the hand symbol there on his chest, you see?
Oh yeah, the hand symbols and all that. The Moors came with all that. But it's standing up like a calendar like this one. The Maroons, of course, we know the Maroons were the reason for the British winning any wars anywhere, okay? The Maroons. Tridimensional chess. If you look at the top of the chess pieces, so I was right, the king does have a cross on the top, right? That's a plus symbol, so the plus symbol is positive. When you look at the top of these, that's Baphomet right here, when you look at it from this point of view. But when he makes his move, and when you look at it from the side view, it's Pegasus, among other things. They all look like Pegasus. And they all have historical value. This was once an elephant, based on Hannibal. The castle was once an elephant, and I actually had a chess set that I bought from, I think I bought it from Milan, Spain. I paid about $400 for it in the 70s. Of course, I let my kids play chess, and they, it's just a bunch of rubble now. But because they were made out of granite. Now, why were they playing this on Star Trek? And what does it have to do with the stars? We talked a little bit about it. But if you look at this here, that is the circle. You ever see these circles? That's the ship, the Star Trek ship right there. The different ships. And this is the body of it. This is one side right here. And let's see if I have an actual. Look at it right here. That's the circle, and that's the body of the Star Trek ship. On both sides, a player against a player. Now these sides, these things here can swivel out. These swivel out. I have a small one. I have it at my daughter's house. But if you look at the chess, three-dimensional chess set, you have the circle in the middle, and you have the body of the ship there, and you have the two, whatever it is that make the ship run, the long ends that come out. That's it right there. Showing you that, and then you have one on this side, showing you that this game itself dealt with the stars. It dealt with the astral plane when it was created. That's how they created it. The points in the sky became squares and sections, you see. And this is the chess set itself. I'm not going to go through how, I think we explained how to play the game. And again, we're going to close this Moorish part with Black Hermit. I got about 10 more minutes, and we're going to look at a few more things.
4 minutes on this tape.
4 minutes? Okay, that might be good. That just might do it. Let's see. Let's talk a little bit about trees. I need to give them this information. Hopefully I can see it. This is really important right here. This is one reason why I have this. So I can blow it up. Yes. Okay. Just as events in life follow the trail or the train of cause and effect, so do the events of death. Leverage, is that leverage?
Mm-hmm.
Leverage and understanding of cause and effect as it pertains to your eventual death. Death is a transitory period between this life and the next. It takes you on a path whose direction is determined by the condition of your mind. Your mental state at the time of your death will determine the outcome of events as you make the transition. As a man thinketh, so is he. The last thought you think before you leave your body determines the path you follow to your next life. Normally, death leaves you alone in distressed thought, fending for yourself as you begin to move through bewildering surroundings. The familiar territory of your bodily life is gone. Your path
Beset.
Acted?
Beset.
Oh, beset and
Dictated
by fear. Okay, so fear at the point of death, there's, no matter what you know, there's always fear of the unknown. That's why you turn the lights off. The kids say, oh, I'm scared, it's dark, don't turn the lights off. It's the fear of the unknown. We all have it. And when you at the actual point, you have different points in your lifetime that you can leave physical reality. But when you finally decide to leave physical reality, it cleans off all the egotistical stuff you collected about yourself, and the core of yourself has to deal with this fear and not what you learned. The core of yourself. So you're gonna have the fear anyway, it depends on what you do with it. But if someone were to preserve your body in such a manner that it acted as a haven for your essence. And if someone were to provide communication and guidance to your being, the transition stands to be glorious. This is why mummification and transference became so vital during the critical moments of the essence. When practiced correctly with the within the laws of destiny, they set a stage that empowers you to negotiate forces and transition to a life of the greatest realms. All right? The transition that occurs at death is the only time you can really make a monumentous change in your life, your destiny. But it is during life that you prepare for the moment, for the movement. How you fare during your transition is greatly affected by the strength of your will or lack thereof. Your will determines your ability to remain focused on the optimal direction and whether you will be deterred by distractions. Just as there are distractions in life, there are distractions in death. The opportunity to develop your will is afforded to you in life when you have the chance to learn and practice meditation, when you can become initiated into the esoteric disciplines and the ideal meditation. You have the definitive tool to build the will of your essence. The strength you require in life will play a significant role during death. So you want to be aware at death. You don't want to just go walk out in the street and get, which you got to agree to it first. No, nothing can kill you, or no one can kill you unless you spiritually agree to it. And you have portals in your life where you can leave physical reality. But you, zero? Okay. I'm going to do 5 more minutes and we're going to put the guide up on there. Okay, go ahead, brother. Live your life gathering the information and what you're going to bring. That's what the Egyptians symbolized when they gathered all that stuff in their so-called tombs. I don't even really want to, concepts we have today. It's very hard to compare them. Yeah, it's very hard to compare them.
Time capsule.
Yeah.
What they do it today with religion, they just they lead you astray. But a lot of, if you really think about it, a lot of religion is technically preparing for when you die. It's just that we're led astray because of other things. But that is what every religion teaches you.
Yeah, because I remember when I was a little girl, my mother used to always say, when you're born, you're preparing to die.
Just that we're not told to seek knowledge. That's where I think it seems to be a big difference. We're not told to seek as much knowledge as possible. We're told to seek something external or seek external riches as opposed to just that knowledge base, which is what my man is saying.
Yeah. And you have to be aware of the things that go on in your life because there's a certain, all right, you learn how to deal with medicine all your life. Yes, your next incarnation, you're going to be something probably in that field or balanced to it or opposite of it. But at the point of death, it could determine how you live that out. You can live it out very bad or you can live it out really well. It depends on your consciousness at that particular point of death, remembering at the point of death, which is the hard part. It's just like martial arts. Some people, like me, I get triggered right away, and if someone grabs me and I don't see them, they're going. But if you have people that can't do that, they can learn all the martial arts that you could think of, but when you get to the actual place where they need to use it, it's gone. See, there are people like that. Same thing with death. Same thing with death. You have to remember all the shit you learned. You have to focus look, okay, I'm about to leave this place, and there's a couple of times I thought I was leaving. I was like, yeah, nigga, yeah.
Died
You know,
laughing.
shit, you know what I'm saying? You almost died laughing one time.
Right.
I actually fell out, I was gone. I was dying laughing.
Yeah.
And that's the way I want to go, either laughing or having sex.
Yeah.
You see? So it's the mind pattern
I'll make it.
at death. Where's your mind at death? And that's why you have mind control, different types of fake religions, distorted religions, and all of that is projected out to you because they want to recycle you back into this reality. It's a recycling reality that they only exist here and now. You exist, the extent of your life is like that board. Remember, and also, the pieces on the chessboard were never black and white. All the pieces were black. That's how tough the game was. The game was really tough because all the pieces were black, and all of the pieces didn't go in squares, they go in on points, and you had to know star constellations. Okay? So in a future class, we're actually going to have a chess class. We're going to teach people chess.
If all the pieces were black, how did you?
And that's what I'm saying. That's how hard it was. They had different shapes. One team would have horses for their castle. Another person would have an actual castle, but they would all be black. They didn't have like white pieces, and then like.
Were the pieces the same on both sides of the board?
Yes. Yeah. Like for instance, if I had one guy, he had all black pieces, and I got all black pieces. My king would look different from his king,
Right.
like that.
And same thing with the castles and stuff like
Everything
that.
would look different.
So, okay, that's what I meant. The pieces weren't identical.
Oh no, everything would look different. No, they wouldn't be. No. Even the pawns were different.
Because think about it, sometimes in battle,
Yeah.
that's the way things is. I mean, you know,
Yeah.
you out there, and it's not like he got white on, so I'm after him.
Yeah.
You know, like
Right,
y'all
right.
all might almost look the same out there.
Oh no, yeah, you definitely have to have no. If they all look like it, they would have to have different colors. They would have to.
I have a glass chess set that's like that. It's glass, but the glass, each piece, they're different. Like one is a little, you can tell, but you actually have to be paying attention. You will. I don't play it, but I do have. I know. I get what you're saying now, because like the glass is rougher on one side. One group piece of the glass is like rougher than the other one. You can see through it. But I did what you're saying. Okay, that makes sense.
So when did the white-
Thinking like, oh, black.
The white pieces came much later.
White man.
If you ever find, you ever find that y'all flown a plane before, look out of the plane window, you're gonna see a damn chessboard.
That's right.
Look out of that plane window, you are gonna see a chessboard down there. You see? So,
Look at it.
yeah, that's a very, very important game, and you have honor students and people at schools and stuff like that, which they're shutting down, that do play chess, but we should be, every black man, when I say more, I'm not talking about any particular religion or any follow no Gujarati and all that's good. But I just mean you as a melanated being, a true melanated being, need to be playing games like this because those games were Ouija boards that woke up that consciousness within yourself and made you understand yourself. And with that, I'm not going to go any further. I have a ton of stuff here. I can go for the rest of the day, actually. But we're going to give my brother, D. Brad, he has a brand new book out. And I read most of the book, brother, not all of it. I read most of the book, and I thought it was an excellent book. And it's hard to get me to read books that I don't want to read. You understand?
Good.
I didn't want to read it because I read so much stuff. But I said, okay, I'm going to read this brother's book.
Well, good.
And it was an excellent book. So
Take a 5 or 10 minute or?
no, keep going.
Okay.
Because we only got half an hour.
Okay.
So here it is, Brother D. Brad. Brother, get up and do your thing and tell us about your book and what's going on.
All right. Take a quick break of.
You need a break? I don't need a break.
You know what will be? I think.
Take a 5 minute?
One to the far. No, the other way. Yeah. Actually, though, it will actually be a lot less time consuming. Since you two brothers actually read some of just, I think it would probably be less time consuming. And get, if you.
You're referring in the book as the press.
Yeah,
And I think I know who you're talking about, but I'll let you explain.
Yeah. No, that was because that's.
You want me to take the screen down, or you? What you
You could if you want.
You want to take a 5 minute?
Okay, let's do a 5 minute.
Okay, just give me
Oh, you missed it. Nah, Jay. Do it again. I'm a freak. Watch when I do my English house. I'm gonna get everybody caught up. Just a fool with everybody. Just a fool with everybody. Just a fool with everybody.
Know what I said?
And I do that now. But I forgot about the hand joint. You know Illuminati?
Yeah.
There's a bunch of them. There's a lot of them. I mean, my new book is gonna have about at least 10 of them.
I'm gonna save it for the first time we go on a mainstream show and walk on. I'm just going.
Yeah.
That's a good idea.
Do this George right here. Well, I will start off introducing myself. My name is David K. Farrell, otherwise known as D. Brad, also known as David Bradley. And fortunately for me, the Farrell, which is really pronounced Farrell, and the Bradley are actually lineage names. I used to try to get rid of the Bradley because growing up I thought Bradley was a slave name until my younger brother did a little research and found out. And I may be wrong, so you guys can correct me. But if I'm correct, Bradley comes from a dialect called Gaelic, and we were the Black Irish. So I'm Irish, I'm a Native American, and I'm from the Dominican side of the island of Haiti. So, interesting. But anyway, the title of my book is called BET, D. Brad and Me. This book details my time working with the station Black Entertainment Television. I was fortunate enough to have created a show that still airs called Spring Bling. I was visually behind a lot of the rappers we see today that have been out for the past 7 years or so, whether it be artists like Eve, a young lady by the name of Trina. I visually introduced her to the masses first. Even here in Harlem, Cameron, Jim Jones, and Joel's Dipset, when they were just a thought process, Cameron came to me and told me the story. And I believed in his vision. And at the time for me, a lot of the artists that I was introducing, I looked at it like I was trying to let the inmates run the asylum. I interned for MTV in 1997 in college, and I found out that MTV actually watched BET to figure out their black program. Because I used to watch these white people sit on every day at 4 o'clock. And particularly they watch Rap City. And then one day I finally asked, and they told me that this is how we tell what rap videos we should play. So the next year, I get hired at BET. I understand this, so when it's my turn to get on Rap City, I took this knowledge with me. And I used to tell people at BET, but no one ever believed me. So I just did it, and I proved everyone that this was true with Eve. And that's mostly I pushed Eve because I like black women, and there weren't a lot of black women out, a lot of black artists out. And I'm from Southern New Jersey, a town called Willingboro, right outside of Philly, like 15 minutes. So I'm basically like a Philly cat. So I understood Eve, because Eve was a Philly girl, Philly woman. So I understood her. That's why during Jay-Z highest reign in the music industry with Rockefeller, a lot of his acts they were all from Philly, and they had the most success when I was on Rap City because I played them all the time. We didn't have influences on the outside, so a lot of what we saw from 1998 to 2001, I was a guy that was just playing a lot of these videos because, like I said, to me it was like the inmates running the asylum. I couldn't believe, BET gave me that much power, but they didn't understand what was going on. I kind of walked in with a heads up over the people that were there, and because I was half decent, Spring Bling made a lot of money for the station. They let me do what I wanted to do. Everything that entails this book, BET, D. Brad and Me, in the beginning is the BET section. I tell stories like that, and I go a little deeper into situations that I was in, times where I had executives tell me that a sister was too dark. She was too heavy set. Let's put the light-skinned girls with the baby hair towards the front. I talk about meetings that we had where we would have the white Jewish producers that worked to stand up and compliment the tits and ass that we were showing, and I would stand up and say, nah, hold on a second. There's something that has to be more here. And I would watch all my cohorts get upset because the meeting would last longer, and I would watch the executives get upset because, as I was told, this is just a business. But I would always counter with, yeah, if I was working in a white corporation, because there's so many other white television stations, maybe you can't throw one away. But this is BET, and that was where a lot of my issues would come from within the station. But because I was so talented at what I did, and not because I was so talented per se, just that I actually, for whatever reason, I had a finger on the pulse of what was going on. And I speak on issues like that. I speak on in the BET section issues dealing with sexual harassment in the workplace. Yes, sir.
While you were objecting to some of these images and what they were basically, the way that they were portraying black people, was there anyone else at the station that backed you up?
Oh, of course, once we walked out the meeting, when the president's in his office and everything, I was like, yeah, man, I'm glad you brought that up. But during the meeting, and understand, it wasn't like I was, listen, I love women. I have my thing that I do. So I'm out at the time, and I am just as red-blooded hot male as any other brother out there. So I wasn't even saying we needed to stop. I just said we need some balance. That's what I was saying to them. I said, sure, I don't have a problem. I mean, if you come to my home and you look at my CD collection, I don't have Mos Def and Tyler Quality. I probably got a lot of gutter rappers. So it wasn't about right or wrong. I just was asking them to show balance because I knew we were too imbalanced. There was no way you could show tits and ass all day long. You know, but according to the president over there, like he did in a recent interview, he said, well, this is what our viewers call for. Well, I have a 2.5-year-old daughter who just wants to eat cookies all day. So if I give her cookies all day, am I doing what I'm supposed to be doing because I know better? So that's the situation that we were in. And I speak about Viacom, Mel Kaiserman, and there's another Jewish dude who actually own BET. So Black America, we get upset with BET and we boycott the CEO, Deborah Lee, this black woman. But nobody black wants to talk to these Jewish people right over there, 1515 Broadway. And so I speak on that, but I don't make it that long because there's no point yelling and screaming because everybody really knows what's going on. It's just that we choose not to confront it out of what I call cowardice because I'm not really a nice guy. And I think it's very cowardly.
That's the same building that Essence is in. 1515.
Who knew?
In your book, and I haven't like finished it, but you seem somewhat reluctant to hold founder and then CEO Robert Johnson fully accountable for the content.
I wrote that I contradict myself.
Could you just explain? I mean, given that he founded it and he was the CEO, seems like there would be more culpability on his behalf.
Yes,
should be anyway.
Yes, and I say no. Like once again, I'm contradicting myself. In 1998, when I first started at BET,
in other words, is he a black devil?
No, I don't think so. I don't think so. Especially not because 95% of the black folks that would want to call him a devil would never go out there and call a white person a devil to their face. They would never call their president or the government devil. So I'm not going to sit here and call a black dude a devil. So, but the reason why I'm like that with Bob Johnson is when I started in 1998 as a low-level production assistant, you could buy stock in BET. So I'm not keen on stocks and bonds. I don't sit and read Wall Street Journal. But logic would tell me that meant the company was private. And then my further logic would tell me if the company was private, then my black behind could get a lot of dough. Bob Johnson had a lot of black folks getting money off of that station. Now I do know enough about Jewish investors and money lenders to know that they want all the money. So what I think a lot of black folks didn't see was the pressure Bob Johnson was under. He's holding this thing that he came up with the concept in the 60s. Yeah, I heard he had a little Jewish man that gave him money, but according to the Jews in the entertainment industry, I think what's this saying that every Jew is supposed to love a nigga? You know, Tracy Morgan from Saturday Night Live said that about Lorne Michaels. He was like, hey, every Jew's supposed to have one nigga that they help out. So I guess that Bob Johnson was that one. I forget the old Jewish man who gave him the money. But he also knew that it would work. But Bob Johnson, I heard a lot, because black people, it's a black station, but black folks talk. We don't keep much secret. So if one thing happens up here, it's gonna trickle all the way down, And he was going through a lot of stress financially. He was coming out of his pockets. I mean, the shows was literally Bob going to the ATM machine. We need 20,000. Bob would write that check. It wasn't a Viacom. He had no backing other than himself. And on a human level, I'm going to say and assume that he was going through a lot of stress. And having first-hand knowledge of seeing it when I was on Chappelle's show, how when that show started making money, those execs started leaning on Dave, and he eventually left. And this is what happened. So from my perspective, they leaned on Bob Johnson so heavily, they started to cut off his financial means now. Suddenly now he's just by himself. Because you're not giving these people in Wall Street your company. So it's no problem, we'll just tell everybody else not to do it. So suddenly BET's in financial trouble, they can't get anything. Kind of the